You're watching Ride Like a Local with Belt Drive Betty. I'm being joined right now by the organizers of the Bikes Against Bullies event, and let's start with you, Kimberly. Why, as a mom, did you decide to get involved with this event?
Mostly because I can feel for a mom that's lost her daughter. There's no doubt about that. But my daughter came to me and said that she wanted to put this event on, and I love to fundraise, and I love it when we can do activities together. So this is our second year, and we plan on keeping it going strong.
Tanisha, why did you get involved?
I struggled a lot as a teenager, and my stepsister Sophia knew Amanda. She said she wanted to do something like this, and I just kind of went with it, and yeah.
What does it mean to you to see some 225 bikes roll in behind you tonight?
I could cry. I could cry. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's like a kid at Christmas. It's like just amazing how bikers come together for something.
And Tracy, why did you get involved?
because my daughter asked me, basically.
So you were our ride captain today, and I mean, that's a big responsibility, leading 200 and some odd bikes.
Yeah, it's all good. It's a good cause. I was bullied a little bit, and I was actually a bully as well. So name like Tracy, you can imagine. But yeah, it's great. It's great seeing the change in my daughter. It's great how my ex-wife and my daughter have bonded over this kind of thing, and it's great. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Now, what impact are you hoping for as a young woman, knowing Amanda, knowing her mom? What does it mean to you to bring this kind of awareness?
Well, the impact that I'm hoping to have is motorcycles are loud, so I think we made a lot of noise today. I'm hoping that a lot of people will ask around, like, why did you see all those bikes? What were they doing? And just stop and think about it. Maybe next time they see a bike, they'll relate it to not bullying. Bikers also have kind of a stigma of being like tough, so maybe people will stop and think about bullying, and maybe have a little bit more compassion for mental health.
To see your child be a leader this way, what does that do to your heart?
Oh, I'm over the top. Kids have a lot of problems. Tanisa had her own, and we struggled through them at times. High school was a particularly bad time for us. And I used to tell her all the time, we are going to be best friends one day. And she used to mock me and not believe a word I said, but here we are. We are best friends. I love working with her. I love working with her dad, Tracy. We've come together as our own family unit, and we're doing this together, and I'm really proud of both of them.
Now, the message that bullying needs to stop. What key things could we do as a society that would help us get that message out there bigger, better, and louder than ever before?
I think it starts with the kids for sure. I think even maybe some parents are bullies. And I think, yeah, if we can teach the kids who are younger, like we try every year to get young kids out here, it's tough. But I think it really starts with the kids, and if we can kind of just instill a little bit more compassion in our kids, and as parents, if we see that our children might be bullying, or if they're being bullied, just have the conversation and definitely just make sure that everyone knows that it's not okay and what might happen if they do bully. And if you're being bullied, there's people that you can talk to, and there's always people that are there for you, and bullying's not cool anymore.
What's the one message, besides the fact that bullying isn't cool, what is the one message you would like parents to hear out of all of this about the internet and getting involved with their kids' lives?
That's a bit of a tough one for me. When Tanisa was younger, we didn't really have the internet, so we managed to bypass all of that. However, the biggest message would be you've got to monitor it. Children should not be going into their bedroom with their iPads. They might say they're going to watch a movie. That doesn't mean they're going to watch a movie. They could be chatting with their friends online all night. Don't give them webcams. A lot of problems start with the webcams. So, I mean, if I was a parent of a young child right now, I would just have a lot more adult supervision on when she's online and what she's doing.
Carol has an idea where she wants to make it so that parents have kind of not control over their kids' phones, but they have the ability to turn it off at night, for example. So kind of like back in the day, in my day, it was like TV's off, time to go to bed kind of thing. Well, phone's off, so they can literally turn it off. And yeah, I think just the conversation, like that's why we do what we do today, the awareness about Amanda's story and what happened to her and what can happen if you make just one mistake when it comes to the internet these days. So it's all awareness. That's why we do what we do. It's all about having the conversations and just making people aware. Like before Amanda, I don't think there was this kind of awareness. I think things were still happening, but she had the balls to put herself out there before she took her life, so now people are talking about it more, and people just need to continue talking about it.
I guess that is the bottom line. If Amanda's life is going to mean something, it's got to start with the people who cared about her and be allowed to snowball into that broader message that parents need to become more engaged in their kids' lives. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest message to get out is that bullying isn't cool, because it torpedoes or snowballs. When one kid will do it, and then the other kid will think it's cool, and they'll join in and laugh. Because basically, bullies are people with low self-esteem that try to look good by bullying somebody else. So I think that has to stop.
Futures Grand Prairie and region. business development assistance, business planning, cash flows, market research, business loans up to $150,000.
Community Futures, growing communities one idea at a time.
The Sports Camera Store in West Edmonton Mall is your one-stop shop for drift and GoPro action cameras. We carry Canada's largest selection of action cam accessories, along with video sunglasses, hidden in surveillance cameras, and more. Visit www.sportscamerastore.com or stop in to our West Edmonton Mall location, lower level by the bay. I'm being joined right now by Amanda McIsaac, who is the marketing manager for Trev Dealey Motorcycles here in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tell me, Amanda, why did Trev Dealey get behind the initiative Bikers Against Bullies?
Well, Tanisa and Kimberly actually contacted me at the beginning of the year, actually back in October, and they just told me all about the Amanda Todd story. I had heard about it back in Ontario before I even came here, so I was very moved by the story behind it and by their initiative to get people together and to raise awareness. And they have an amazing social media spread, and the media's got very much behind this story. So we wanted Trev Dealey to be a part of it and to show that even the tough guys, the bikers, they really have a soft heart, and some of them can relate to having been bullied. So instead of portraying us as the bullies, it's nice to kind of put us in the other seat and let people know that we realize what it's like to be on the weaker end of things. And so if we stand together, then it can be a strength for everyone.
Well, and very often, bikers in our own way, we face so many disadvantages when it comes to travel because of social media, because of fears that, oh my God, the big bad bikers, right? So it is very heartwarming to see 250 bikes roughly come out, support this cause, and I think it's only going to get bigger as the years go on, because almost every rider can identify with some kind of harassment or discrimination, and the minute you have that connection, you want to be involved. If you were a mom, what would it mean to you to see all of these people supporting shutting off your cell phones, getting rid of some of that interaction on Facebook, and protecting your children?
No, I think it's very important, especially for young women. I think Amanda Todd's specific story and what she went through, I think there are some very important lessons that a lot of moms are thinking about, and what we tell our daughters to be proud of, we tell our daughters to be careful of, I think mostly. And this is a different age. It's a different age than I grew up in on social media, and the world is very much changing, and bullying is changing along with it. So it is something where we have to take all this into consideration, and as an older generation, we have to somehow relate to what these kids are going through. It's not in the schoolyard anymore. It follows you home. It's everywhere. It's all around you. So this is a different evolving problem that we need to get behind and start nipping in the bud and standing up to.
Now, Trev Dealey Motorcycles not only supported by offering this wonderful venue, but you guys have done some other stuff. Tell our audience a little bit about the way you got involved with this, as far as, the monetary contributions, that kind of thing.
I don't think, for one, people understand just what bikers give towards the community. We have events here on a weekly to two events every weekend for different organizations that don't exactly have a strong voice. So we're happy to put the Harley-Davidson brand behind, which is extremely powerful, behind these people who need that little leg up for their cause. We're busy every weekend throughout the year with some kind of organization that we're assisting, and our clientele is very generous. I can't tell you enough how our Hog chapter and everybody that's involved in the Harley community, all the money that they put into these great causes. The people who are out here, they've been to most of the events this summer. It's not necessarily us that we house it, but it's these people who come to everything. And sure, they may just buy lunch, but it's, they'll put $20 in the jar for a hot dog, and they do that several times a year, and it all adds up. So the money that they'll see coming from this today, that's just one instance in our year. And our bikers are phenomenal for that. And so we're really here to support them as well as support the causes and bring them together for things like this.
I'm being joined right now by Bob Sutherland, who's with the Veterans Brotherhood. And Bob, tell me a little bit why you came on this Bikers Against Bullies ride.
Well, I think it's important that people in our community rally behind this because I think everybody in our society has been bullied either by a student that we went to school with, a boss, a co-worker, next door neighbor. And it really shouldn't happen. People should be showing more respect to the people around them and the people they deal with.
Why do you think bullying has become so prevalent in our society? Have we just lost touch with who we are because of electronics?
I think the electronics has a lot to do with it. I mean, there's always been bullies. When I was in school, yeah, there's bullies, and usually there was, 3 people behind them that were backing them up, so they were pretty hard to deal with. But the fact is, you could deal with them because you saw them face to face. With the electronic bullying, people in Germany can terrorize you and just make your life miserable. And it's so prevalent because it's easy. It's just pushing buttons, and you don't even have to know them personally. It's just a target across the world or just across the street. And bullies at one time were probably tough guys. These are cowards hiding behind their computer terminal. And I think that's a big part of it.
When you came out on this ride, what did you think would happen and what was your goal?
Well, I'm not naive in thinking that bullying is going to stop because we had this ride. Bullying has always been, it probably always will be, but bullies have to know that the mainstream people in our society are going to say, hey, cut it out. You don't impress anybody, and you're a coward and you're weak because you have to tear somebody down, you have to hurt somebody in order for you to feel like you're an important person. And in my day, bullies were dealt with. They bullied you and they hit them between the eyes, and usually they ran away and didn't bother you again. Now, how do you fight 10,000 people on the internet or on Facebook? You can't. The only thing you can do is shut it off. And I think parents should take a more active role in what their children are doing with electronics. I'm not a computer person, but I don't think 10-year-old kids should be on Facebook, or 14-year-old kids, or 15-year-old kids because their friends are. Take the damn computers away from people and parent your children. I think that's a big part of it. For the people that aren't in the motorcycle community, I just hope you folks are realizing the generosity of the biker community, because we are involved in so many fundraisers and so many charity rides. And I don't see a lot of people driving Mercedes and their Rollses and Bentleys and these things and kicking in money. It's the bikers that are doing it. Where are you when these things are going on? And we would gladly accommodate you in our rides if you chose to donate. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Growing communities one idea at a time is Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region, providing business planning, cash flows, market research, and business loans. Visit www.cfofgp.com to see how we can help you. Canada's most rider-friendly community. Where is it? Is it in Carman, Marystown, Viking? Where in this vast land is Canada's most rider-friendly community? Help us discover that special community at riderfriendlycontest.ca.
I was dealing with some bullying in my workplace, which motivated me to write and record the song. In 2013, I pledged to donate all of the sales proceeds from my song Fly to Amanda Todd's Legacy Memorial Fund and the CKNW Orphans Fund. And I also want to thank my band, the Soul Collective, and my manager, Chris, from Mercury Management Canada, for supporting me through this. And I also want to present a check. I raised $400 by selling my song Fly on iTunes, and I'm donating all of it to Amanda Todd's Legacy Memorial Fund and the CKNW Orphans Fund. So thank you.
I'm being joined right now by a wonderful performer named Sarah, and she sang a song for us earlier called Fly and told us a little bit about why that song was so important. Tell me how it felt being a child growing up being bullied.
Well, as a child, I was very didn't really have much self-esteem because of what I've been told in grade school and in high school. But I used that emptiness, that void that I had to push myself to pursue my music. I have such a huge drive. I just have such a huge drive in pursuing my career as a musician, and I think it all comes from, you know, being bullied at school and kind of proving to myself that I am worth something, and I'm going to prove it to the world that I'm worth something. So, yeah.
Now, you're here with the Amanda Todd Legacy Fund today. You donated $400 from your album sales. Tell me why this fund became so important to you. Is it just because of your own history, or is there a broader message you'd like to get out there?
A combination of both. I think it does. A lot of it stems from what I've been through, this is my way of giving back, because I truly believe that music did save me. I think if I didn't have that passion and that drive, I don't know where my life would have ended. I don't know where I would have ended, my life would have ended up being. So for me, I think it's a combination of giving back to the world, because music did save me, and I also want to send a message out there, you know, to let people know that, you know, you just gotta, you know, believe in yourself, and you just need to just give back to the world and just keep doing the right thing, and you'll make it.
Behaviors, and I think I talked about it last year, that we talk about people as bullies and we talk about the behaviors, but they're all really just behaviors, and behaviors can be changed. Habits can be changed. If we have horrible behaviors, like if we like chocolate and we want to not eat chocolate anymore, we stop eating chocolate, and we're changing a habit. And if we're smoking and we want to quit smoking, we're changing a habit. And so bullying behaviors, it becomes a habit. And so we just have to change it. And I don't like the term that says once a bully, always a bully, because you can change whatever you say and whatever you do to make an effect. On the downside, I just heard that the statistics for cyber abuse and cyberbullying has increased. Unfortunately, with, you know, the onset of technology and how easy it is to use your phones and tablets and devices, it's so easy to do something anonymously now. Face-to-face, you have to face someone. Anonymously, you can do it without a name, and you think you can get away with it. And I know that, you know, I went back and I looked in Amanda's computer, and I found some notes of kids that were verbally abusing her, and Amanda said to them, "Why are you doing this to me?" And they said, "Because it's fun. It's a game." And unfortunately, the game can hurt. And so that's why we have to work so hard to make sure that some of those games end. And unfortunately, it takes lives away. So how do we solve the problem down the road? We do it by awareness, we do it by education, we do it by resource tools. We tell people to stand up and support, and if you see it, don't be the bystanding person that just sits there and watches it and then walks away. Go and do something about it. Lend a hand to the person being targeted and help them. What goes on using social media, so that when our kids come to talk to us, we know what we're talking about. And it's not about learning how every single app in the world works. It's about learning what apps can and can't do out there, and what the devices can and can't do. And you have to remember that when you go and put yourself online, you're making yourself public. And are those the kind of public things that you want out there about yourself? And so once you put yourself out there publicly, it's damn hard to get yourself off. And I'm still trying after 2 years to get stuff off about my daughter, and it's really hard. So the answer to that is, don't put it out in the first place. And what we tell our kids and our young people is that what you put out there becomes a digital footprint. It becomes concrete. And when our kids are looking for jobs, or even adults, us as adults, we're looking for jobs, we're looking to get into a college or university, or we're looking for a scholarship or something, and our employers and look up our names and they see things that people have said about us, or things that you have said, or pictures you've posted, well, it's so easy for them to just put your name in the not wanted pile instead of the I want to see them pile. And it's little things that happen that we don't think about, but those are the things we have to teach about. We have to teach about what you put online becomes public and permanent, and you can't take it down, and it will affect your reputation, and it could affect your life. Thank you for being here.
I'm being joined right now by Carol Todd, Amanda Todd's mom, and it's a very emotional day here at Trev Dealey's. Carol, the mission you're on to change the attitude towards bullying, tell us a little bit about that mission. I can't imagine how a mother's heart feels taking on this huge challenge.
Well, you know what? It's something that personally I have to do. And as a mom, I will always be the mom to both my kids. So yes, Amanda's not with us in the physical world, but she's here in the spiritual world. And I still have to make sure that I think her ultimate message and what she wanted in life was for kids to be safe, because she didn't feel safe and she felt she didn't have anyone that she could talk to outside of her home. And so I need to make sure that people are more aware that you need to be there and you need to be a support system for each other, not just kids, people that are bullied, but everyone. And that's why I go around talking about mental health too, right? Because it's all about how we feel, and if we can talk about it as healthy living and brain health and healthy mental wellness, then maybe things would change.
And change has to come. The internet has become a very, very dangerous place. 13 years ago, it was a baby. Today, it's this it can be a beautiful place, but it can also be a cesspool. What is one piece of advice you would give another parent?
I think the parents really need to be aware of what is going on in social media so that they can have these communications and discussions with their families. And one of the big things I talk about is bringing back core family values, right? And taking away and having non-technology times, going out for ice cream, going out for a walk, watching a movie with a DVD player and not having it streamed in using technology, and just having those times where you can bring yourself together. It's all those things that we do with our kids. Remember what we did with our parents and our grandparents. Bring some of those things back. Laugh at, have popcorn nights, but put the phones away. Even if it's for an hour, 2 hours, it's not forever. And if you instill those values on your kids, they become habits, and they'll bring them into their family.
I wonder sometimes at some of the things that I see, young people in particular posting, they really don't understand the dangers of what can happen out there. And it's an unfortunate situation in this world where we have to have these discussions with our children. As a parent, how do you recommend you start that discussion? Because often parents are at a loss. They really don't know how to start.
You know what, sometimes if you want to start about, you don't ask questions that are yes and no questions. You ask questions that's going to draw them into a communication thing, right? And then when you want to know more about social technology and how it works, and as an adult you don't know where to start, ask your kids. So, what's going on? What kind of apps do your friends like to use? Never put it into asking personally, but asking what are your friends using? How does that work? And just draw out the question answers in that way. And you know what, when you have kids in the back seat of your car, that's the best time to talk to them. And they're all captive because you're going 50 kilometers an hour on the road, but they can't jump out, so you can start having that discussion. And then have those times where,
As you were standing here watching all these bikes roll in, what did that do for your heart?
Oh, it totally gave me a weird feeling. It's just to see all these bikes ride in and know that people wake up in the morning and it's on their calendar to go to an event, and they arrive at the event and they're actually giving up a few hours of their busy life to do this for
for Amanda's legacy and for a cause, that just gives me shivers. It just makes me so happy. I don't even know if I have words to explain it, right?
And on that note, Carol, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us and helping my audience understand a little bit more about bullying, and keep up the good work sharing that message, because we need to disconnect as a society and reconnect with the hand.
Yeah, for sure. And hugs. We forget the hugs. Hugs are important too.
Hugs are super important. Can I give you one?
Oh, for sure.
Get your picture taken on a Harley. We'll